Rev up your engines!
Batty Salas says, Scotty, would it be wise to disable the variable cylinder management on Honda 3.5 so all 6 cylinders are always firing? I would. It's a wise move, and here's why. The engineers made the system that shuts off certain cylinders at certain times. It turns out that those cylinders that are shut off, if they're shut off for any length of time, they wear incorrectly. Something about they don't get the right oil lubrication or the thermal arrangement. Normally you got 6 cylinders, right? They're all firing. So the engine is pretty thermal, one temperature. The whole thing gets one temperature. They all give up the same amount of heat. If some of them are firing and some aren't, those will be colder than the others. The metal will shrink and then the hotter parts will expand more. They can blow head gaskets. They can wear bearings out. It's a very stupid idea. And of course, they don't tell you any of these ramifications. So you'll save money on gas. Yeah, hardly anything. You're not going to save all that much in gas anyway. But it has led to premature wear of engine. It only makes sense. The engineers are forced to do things that probably if you ask a good engineer, he'd say, well, you know, we kind of warned them about that. But they didn't care. They just wanted something that had higher gas ratings. Rudy Getz says, how can I make my Honda CVT last as long as possible? I already change the fluid every 50,000 miles. Just keep doing that. Some of them have problems. But Honda and Toyota really don't, because Honda makes their own, Toyota makes their own. They're not buying them from other companies. They make and design their own, and they've perfected them quite well. Both the Hondas and the Toyotas have those launch gears. Then they switch to the CVT after it gets going fast enough in the first launch gear. Great design. I haven't seen problems in them yet. You're doing the right thing. And of course, don't drive like a maniac. What destroys them is rev them as high as you can, go as fast as you can. No, that wipes them out. You drive conservatively, things last longer. But change it every 50. Just make sure you use the Honda fluid they put in them. You don't want to mix it with anything else. Ron Valley says, my Ford F-150 XLT has 160K, never leaked a drop of oil, and looks and runs showroom new since 2003. Yes, that's 2003. They were actually making them the best, and they may have been the height of American car manufacturing in the early 2000s. With the trucks, the cars were a long shot by then, but the trucks, they still made them pretty solid. GM pickup trucks have gone since then. The Silverados had all kinds of problems, but in 2003, they made them better. I've got a lot of customers with 99, 2000, 2003, and they got 200-something thousand they're still running. So yeah, go back in time and buy a bunch of them and store them up, because the new ones aren't that good. Those Nissan pickup trucks, those engines are good engines. They can last a long time. Now realize they are, yes, tremendous gas hogs. I had a customer who had one. He loved it. He moved furniture around with a big trailer behind it and stuff, but he got rid of it and got a diesel GMC instead because he got such horrible gas mileage with the Nissan. But unfortunately, he made the mistake of buying a GMC diesel that already had 160,000 and he'd spent like 15 grand. It still ran like crap. You do not buy a used GMC diesel with mileage. They don't hold up over time. They're good vehicles as long as you don't care about gas mileage. No Content TV. Yeah, that's a good name. Hey, Scotty, what do you think of a first-generation 94 Explorer with 240K miles as the first car? Well, don't pay much. 240,000 miles on it. I doubt if it's still got its original transmission. Now, if the transmission has been replaced with a rebuilt unit recently, it could be okay, because the transmissions were very weak on those early ones. You don't want to pay much for a car that old with 240,000 miles. But I've had customers buy those things for like $800, and they drive them for a few years, and they burn oil and, leak power steering fluid, but they don't care. They just keep driving it that way. But don't overpay for something that old. And do check the transmission. If it doesn't shift right, walk away. Don't even think about buying it. Road test it. If the tranny doesn't shift, slips, clunks, don't buy it. Don't buy it. John Class said, Ford Ranger versus Chevy Colorado. Okay, if you're getting a normal gasoline engine, I would go Ford Ranger for sure. But if you're getting a diesel, I get the Chevy Colorado, because I've had people bring me the Chevy Colorado diesels that tow stuff, and they love them. They get like 37 miles a gallon in a pickup truck, and they're even getting 20-something towing a big trailer. What do you want? You want a diesel that can tow, or just a regular truck? If you just want a regular gasoline truck, I'd get the Ranger. But if you want a diesel, I go with the Colorado myself, because I've seen the diesel ones, they're very well built diesel engines. Now, the newer ones are having GM-made engines, so I don't know about that yet until they've been out a while. Maybe they'll fall apart like all the other GM stuff does. But the older ones had Isuzu diesel engines, and they could last a really long time. Timothy Ryan says, Scotty, I love what you do. How can I tell if a used car I'm buying is using synthetic or conventional oil? The owner doesn't know. Well, you're kind of screwed there. If it was your car, you already owned it. You just change the oil, get a sample of the oil, you put it in one of these test tubes, you send out one of these companies that does an oil analysis, and they can tell you exactly. They'll give you all kinds of information about that oil. But it takes weeks. You mail it to them, they analyze it, they send you the information back. So, you're buying a used car, you're just kind of SOL there. If they don't know, you're not going to know either. Can't tell by looking at the stuff. It has to be analyzed in a laboratory. Bad type 2. I've always wanted to catch one of these live car talks. Been watching Scotty since day one, back in the day. Greeting all the way from North Carolina. Well, hello, North Carolina. I'd love your barbecue. I started in 07. They didn't pay any money when you made them. I like helping people out. I didn't care. Now, truth be told, I made a lot of money since then helping people out. You make money helping people out, not BS, trying to sell them crap, telling them lies of how to invest their money, only they risk everything, and then if something bad happens, they lose everything. No, I'm trying to show you how to buy the right car, how to fix it correctly, how not to get ripped off. So stay tuned. You got questions? Ask them. Veiled Mail says, what's the most reliable Japanese hatchback with 100,000 miles you'd recommend? A Toyota Matrix. We got an 07 Matrix hatch. Oh, that's the best car we've ever had. I've seen it with 500,000 miles. You get 100,000 miles and one, it's not even broken in yet. Now, of course, you buy any used car, you got to pay a mechanic like me to check it out first. It could be wrecked, flooded, stolen. You never know what could have happened to a car. But a mechanic says it's good. That's probably the best one you could get. They can run forever. And of course, the Honda little hatchbacks, little Civic hatchbacks and stuff, they're excellent too. Jeff N says, have you run across steel wheels that lose air at the tire due to rust? All right. Well, hilarious enough, I more often see the alloy wheels rust because they pit. A lot of them are aluminum alloy. Aluminum doesn't rust, but it corrodes, and it corrodes worse than some steel rusts. I see a lot of alloy rims, they're leaking. Next time you get tires changed, let's say you got alloy rims, tell the guys you want your old tires taken off. You want the inside cleaned with a nice wire brush, then you want it all lubricated with the tire lube and then put the tire on. Because these lazy swines that work at the discount auto parts stores. Grew up one of my wife's tire years ago. The guy just got out of Huntsville prison. He had tattoos all over him. A friend of mine knew him and said, yeah, he just got out of prison for stabbing somebody. Now he's working at the tire place, right? The guy just took it off, put the tires on, it leaked, and it went bad because he didn't clean the old stuff off and he didn't lubricate it. So I had to take it to my friend and we took it off on his machine because I didn't have a machine. All kinds of crud. We cleaned it all off, got the nice tire lube, lubed the tire, and lubed the inside of the rim, and then it didn't leak. Make sure it's done correctly, because guys at the tire places, a lot of them are idiots. They get paid minimum wages. They have no idea what they're doing. They haven't been trained. They don't even buy the equipment for, and the lube. The lube costs money. It comes in a little quart thing. It costs $50, $60. They don't want to spend the money, so they don't do it, and then they leak air later. John Clement says, 2018 BMW X3 M40i, 30,000 miles. What are your thoughts? Well, if you love endless money pits, by all means, go out and buy that thing. TV anchor on CBS, right? He bought an X3 and he said it was the worst vehicle he ever had. It was broke. It cost a fortune to fix. He went out and got a Lexus after that and didn't have any problems at all. Those are endless money pits. Now, they also have horrendous resale value. If you can get one dirt cheap with 30,000 miles, it still might go a while. But these guys are all greedy now. They go, luxury BMW is worth a lot of money. No, it isn't. It's a rolling pile of plastic crap. And as it ages, all that stuff will break and go bankrupt because you run out of money trying to fix a stupid thing. Nelson Alvarado said, should I replace my CV axles as soon as possible? Well, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine, he's an old customer. He had a Honda Civic, a little car, right? And his axle boots broke on the CV on both out ones. You could hear him go down the street, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. He drove that thing 5 years that way and then tried it in. They didn't break. He didn't care. He was in Houston. He just went back and forth to the gym and his apartment. So, you really didn't drive all that much. If you're going to drive long distance cross country and you're breaking, you're kind of screwed then. And realize that, let's say you got a Honda Civic. You can go to like AutoZone O'Reilly and for like $70 you can get brand new axles. Each side, you can put them on yourself, take you a couple hours maybe. So you might as well change it. It's not that expensive. But if you don't, and you're out in the middle of nowhere and it breaks, you're going to pay an extensive tow. And if you're on vacation, you're going to go to a garage that's going to really screw you. They'll say, well, they're only at the Honda dealer and they're $498 a piece. And then they'll go to AutoZone and buy them for $50 and mark them up. So your choice. If you just drive in town, you don't mind it clacking, what the heck? If it breaks, you tow it home and fix it. Get some new ones at the discount auto parts stores and put them on. Eric says, I got an 05 Acura RL. My transmission whines. 160,000 miles. Should I be worried? Well, generally when they whine, that's bearing noise, worn bearings. Not a good thing. If you're talking about an automatic transmission, you're looking at $3,500 to $6,500. It's an expensive endeavor to do it correctly, and most guys don't even know how to rebuild those things. If you don't want to put money into it, and it whines, and it doesn't change much, what the heck? I never advise people to have their transmission fixed. I say buy a remanufactured one, because those are so hard to do. So what? You drive it, if it breaks, you're going to throw it away anyways and put another one in if you're going to keep it. But when you find out what it's actually going to cost parts and labor, you probably won't fix it. You probably get rid of the car then, so what the heck? Just drive it and baby it and see what happens. Mohammed says, one of my friends has a Mercedes E300 217 with 392,000 kilometers without any major thing done, regular maintenance here in Dubai. We get German vehicles. Is it possible? Well, you answered your own question. Yeah, the ones that are made in Germany are better made than the ones that they made in the rest of the world. I've seen some of the ones they make in Alabama. They're absolute piles of junk. Even when they're brand new, they don't weld them right. They don't paint them right. They got problems. In Deutschland, they build them better. It's their cars. And yes, if you're getting cars from Germany, they used to sell Mercedes diesels here in the United States that go 500,000 miles and still run pretty good. Now, they don't anymore, but they used to when they were made in Deutschland. You get them from Deutschland, they're going to be better made. No arguing that. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.